The Rocket League community is all in love with one single thing: mechanics. And the kings of mechanics are the freestylers of the community. So what would happen if I spent 1 week purely working on my mechanics and training like a freestyler? I'd previously asked the freestyler Henkovic if he had had any suggestions for a training routine that I could follow for a week, and he had suggested we use Speed Rings 3 for a warm-up, as it's a short map and you can do it quickly every day to try to get a better time. Then go into training, get all the basics warmed up, and then move on to the advanced mechanics for about 10 to 20 minutes. A very simple and effective routine, and this is what we're going to be using for the rest of the week. Rings was just a case of trying to get some good times. Free play basic mechanics were practicing my flicks and shooting practice, dribbling and aerials, and then moving on to some advanced mechanics is where I really had some fun. I would go for 3 single resets in a row, then 3 double resets in a row, and then attempt 3 triple resets in a row. With the triples, however, I was just focused on hitting them and not actually scoring them. Then, once all of that was done, it was on to 3 ceiling musties in a row, 3 sidewall musty double touches in a row, and then 3 sidewall musty flip resets in a row. This was my version of advanced mechanics training. Of course, I would change some things up throughout the week, but this was just the basics, the base level. So after all of my training, after about 30 to 40 minutes, I headed into ranked. I wasn't really expecting too much in the way of clips as it was only day 1, but it wasn't too bad either. A few clips throughout the 2 hours of playing, but most noticeably, I felt faster and in more of a flow. I ended that day up at GC1 Division 3. We once again started the day off with the routine. Rings, free play, advanced mechanics, resets, everything. 20 minutes of just drilling mechanics over and over again, and in my head I was going back and forth on whether or not I should try out some freestyler settings. Test out changing my dead zone to square, making my controller dead zone something like 0.2, which is what some freestylers use, instead of 0.05, which is a more sensitive and reactive dead zone. I decided to try it out for a bit and was not ready for this new feeling. You see, changing to square dead zone definitely helps with specifics, like it allows you to move your car in a very specific way, which is quite helpful for things like the maxed up reset. However, I found it incredibly difficult to get even a normal flip reset with this new dead zone. I did decide to test it out for the day though. Throughout my session, I found that trying to control air dribbles was now much harder, flip resets were harder, and even flipping the way I wanted to flip was harder. Changing to square dead zone changes the way your analog stick input affects the car. It allows you to hit the very corners of the diagonals, but unfortunately this was something I was struggling to work with. After the session, I decided that it would make more sense to train with settings that I would want to continue using after the week is up. That way I'm not learning everything under one set of settings and then having to relearn everything once I change again. This led me to day 3, but before we get there, I did just want to say a quick thank you to today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Now, I am not someone who knows how to cook. I can nail a spag bowl and that's about it, but that's not something you'll ever need to worry about again with HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a company that is dedicated to sending you healthy, reliable recipes right to your door, including all the ingredients you will need. It's the perfect solution for people who are learning to cook, wanting to save a bit of money, or just don't have the time to plan out what they want to eat for the week. Plus, everyone is always trying to start the new year eating healthier. Let HelloFresh be your partner with health-forward options like calorie-smart and protein-smart recipes. Plus, start your day right in the new year with a free breakfast for life. Get 1 free breakfast item per box while your subscription is active. Now, personally, I'm especially thankful for HelloFresh as it's had me making a variety of dishes other than spag bowl that actually give me a healthy diet and all while saving me a ton of time. So head to the link in the description, use my code Thanovic free and receive 1 free breakfast item per box while the subscription is active. I go back to the normal settings, back on 0.05 dead zone, cross dead zone, and 1.75 for both steering and aerial sensitivity. I decided to take a bit more time during the warm-up considering everything I've done the day before, as it was a completely different feel to me. And with the much more reactive car, obviously everything felt faster. And so with the speed came confidence. And with the confidence, I find myself going for more clips. This session of ranked and some casual felt really solid. I was comfortable on the ball, my movement around the field felt nice and fluid, and I even found myself starting to learn how to zap dash, which is something I've been meaning to learn for a while now. It felt like the warm-up and the training allowed me to have some creativity during the games, in more ways than just scoring some nice goals. On top of the goals, I was feeling solid all around. I also got back to GC2, which is nice, and I was feeling confident moving into day 4. Now on day 4, I wanted to change the warm-up routine just a little bit. I wanted to add a few different workshop maps to the mix, so I threw in a map named Sidewaller and the air dribble map. Now, I'm pretty bad at this air dribbling one, but Sidewaller has always been a lot of fun for me, and so it made the warm-up just that little bit more fun and creative. I also decided to start learning maxed up resets and this ground maxed up reset, which I've been trying to get for a while, as well as what is called the Muri reset. Some very slight progress. A lot of watching videos on the side on a different monitor to try and keep up and learn, but I managed to get the movement down a few times, which is really nice. Heading into ranked, this feeling felt the same. A chill but more creative based warm-up led to me having a lot more fun and going for more shots during games. Now, I wasn't going for any maxed up resets or anything, and if I decided for some reason to even attempt one, I wasn't getting anywhere close to actually hitting it, but I was enjoying myself. I found that I was kind of throwing every now and then when I was getting too confident and going for clips and then missing by a mile, so I jumped into casual to finish off the session. Unsurprisingly, the games were much easier and I could just kind of mess around and go for shots. The end of day 4, I was sitting around the same MMR, but I could already tell that I was much more comfortable in the air and had a much easier time making a play on the ball, even if my first touch was slightly off. All the training and the movement stuff had made it much easier to have more options when going for a play, and so something like a simple air dribble could easily become an air dribble into a reset or into a double touch or something else, whatever I needed it to be in the moment. The more I trained my control, the easier I found it to be able to make a play from different positions. Shocking, I know. On the final day of this training schedule, I decided to double down and do twice as much with each section of training. I also spent a bit of time practicing in free play using the 90% game speed to see if it would help me out, and I'm kind of upset I didn't do this at the start of the week because this was a massive game changer. Now, I'm already comfortable with resets and everything, so the slower game speed was just to help me really get the feel and try to further learn shots like the maxed up and the Muri reset. It also helps me to feel faster in game. But even still, this was another good day of feeling really solid mechanically. It was another training session where everything seemed to be really solid and the flow was good. And then heading into ranked, this was easily my best day. I climbed up to 1600, I hit a bunch of shots I was really happy with, and I felt like I was playing the best I played in a long time. And I was having fun. I was getting way more confident going for shots, and even when I missed, I was recovering fast enough that the miss didn't really matter. I was getting better at the zap dash, at corner dashes, and I was just having a lot of fun playing the game, which I'm sure some of you might know is not something that can always be said. Finishing up with casual was also pretty nice as I had a carefree way to go and get a few clips at the end of the week. So, that being said, with the week over, the results of this little experiment are I climbed about 100 MMR in total, I hit a ton of shots I wouldn't normally go for, I felt a lot more confident making solo plays on the ball and trying to use mechanics during a ranked match, I felt faster, I started learning new mechanics that I can try and figure out over the next few weeks, and I actually really enjoyed my time playing Rocket League. So overall, this little fun experiment I wanted to do was actually a really enjoyable and positive experience, and I recommend this to anyone that really wants to hone in on your own mechanics and try work through them. I would say definitely try the routine Henkovic set me up with, as I feel like that warm-up was 90% of this entire thing and what made it possible to actually progress during the week. So a big thank you to Hank for that. But that will wrap things up for me. So thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, and I hope to see you in the next video.